To wind up our last lesson on practice on Certify, lesson 8.3 in the new book. Now, generally you will be getting different numbers, but we want to go over the strategy. So for something like this, they want us to find the range of a data set. So what you do, you don't need to write them down, just kind of look at them. Scanning across, and you see the largest number here is 72, which is right there. And then you scan continually and look for the smallest number. Well, the smallest number is 32, right next door. So you subtract the smaller from the larger, and that will give you the range of your data. So that was an easy one. Now, the next kind of example you might get is something like this. Calculate the 5-number summary of the given data. So there is your data, and you're asked now to find, in a sense, the middle, the end on this end, the end on this end, and then also the middle of these and the middle of these. So the book does a nice job. So what I'm going to do is go to the tutor, and that's what you would do also if you had difficulty with something like this. Open tutor, and they're reading or giving us the question again. And what we have to do is to put it in ascending order from the smallest to the largest. Now, when we count the data, we have 14 items of data. So to get to the middle one, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to take our two middle, since it's an even number of data, 8 and a 9, add them together, divide by 2. This gives us our middle item. Now we know our end item is a 3. Our last item is a 15. So we've got two of them so far. Now we have the middle one, which is 8.5. So now what we have to do within these is find what the middle is. Now here, since we have 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not that, that was the original. We had to go to where we had the last 7, and I need to take this one away here. And now since we have 7, we can pick out the middle one. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be a 12 from here. And then for the lower ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Our fourth one is a 6. So now we have calculated the 5-number summary of our given data. Put them in parentheses and separate them in this way. In looking at example 3 now, we are to read it carefully. The preferred floor plan of an apartment among several apartments with the same square footage. So I don't know if you're interested in or know about apartments, houses. They usually measure the area of all the rooms, and then that's the number of square footage within an apartment or a house. And then would you be more interested in looking at the mean, which would be the average? Well, if they all have the same square footage, they all have the same, the mean is the same. The median, that would be the same, or the mode. Now, the mode is the thing that would be most common, and you want to state your reason. So, as we look at this, the mean and the median really has no value here, since they're the same. So you would look at the mode, maybe the number of rooms, the arrangement of the rooms, which have more bedrooms, which have more bathrooms, living room, kitchen, etc. So the student who did this got it correct. They chose mode. And the justification, the data have no measurable values. That was the correct answer. But let's look at the other. The data have measurable values with outliers. Now, you may or may not remember what an outlier is from our flipped classroom video. An outlier is something that is beyond the normal distribution of things. We talked about a student who didn't do any work, that failed a class, whether a teacher was going to use that student's score to help develop the average and the mean. And that one didn't apply, and the data has measure values with no outliers. Well, there were no outliers here, so both of those were rejected. Again, you're going to have to think about these and make a judgment decision. Well, in this next one, the value in the data set that occurs most frequently. What word describes that? Well, we just said it was the mode. Now the range, let's do a review, is your highest value of data, and you subtract the lowest value of data. That will give you the range. The median is, once you line them up numerically from lowest to highest, if it's an odd number of data, you pick the middle one. That's the median. If it's even, you have to take the two center ones, average those together to get a mean of the two of them. Outlier we just described. Mode we've just described. And then the arithmetic mean is just adding all your data up and dividing by the number of items of data. Now, in this example, they're asking us to construct a box. Wanted to highlight this for you. A box plot from the given data. So there is your data, and notice it is not in its ascending order form. So what you would need to do, as we showed in the earlier one, you want to find the middle. Let me get my pen working here a little better. You want to find the end on this end, the lowest on this end, the middle here, and the middle there. So you have to find these 3 points, and then when they give you the box, you're going to click and drag this so that you end up with what the answer is. And what I'll do here is show you what the correct answer is. So there's the n, low n, high n. There is the middle, this one, and this one. So these would be your 5 numbers here. Let me write them for you. This would be a 5.2. This is going to be a 5.3. This is the 5.6, 5.8, and then 5.9. Where the difficulty level is low, it's just tedious and developing this and then finding this, but a review of what we did earlier. Okay, so you have a handle on what was being done here. And if you didn't know, of course, you would go to Explain Era. Those are some good tutorial things. Now, here's sort of an easy one. We have our items of data. And we're asked to find, is it a unimodal, that is, one number is used the most, or whether there's 2 numbers used the most, or many numbers, or it has no mode. Well, as you look through this, we see that 34 is used 3 times, so that would be a unimodal, and you put the value there. And for this one, rather easy as well. It's nice to have a few easy ones. We have 11 items of data, so we're going to add these all up, divide by 11, and we get 25. That would be the arithmetic mean, or the average. So again, another somewhat easy. We want to find the mode. So as we look, we only have 117, 30s, we have 1 there, 1 there. 13, there's only 1. 19, 1 there, and 1 there. 24, there's 24 and 24. Then there's a 12. So in a sense, we have 3 that are used twice. So this would be multimodal, and the order that you represent the values can be in any order, I'm assuming. Okay, that one's not too bad. Now, for this one, they're giving you a little chart. Researcher randomly purchases 7 different kinds of popular building toys. So they're not in any particular order. They're asking us to find the median of the data. So what you would have to do is physically put these in numerical order, lowest to highest. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 12. So you'll have 5 on one side, 5 on the other, then you have 2 in the middle. Add those together and divide by 2. That will give you your median, which turns out to be 194. Again, we're going through strategy here, and when you have something like this, this is what you would have to do. For this one, another example in finding the mode, whether it's uni, bi, or multi. So again, the strategy, you don't have to copy it down, just look at them. 23, there's only the one. 36, only the one. 19, only the one. 25, only the one. 29, Only the one. 26. All right, now we have two of those. And I see we have 231. So this would be bimodal, and you list the items of data. Now, in this last question, they want us to look at these test scores, and I'll write it out here, 74 plus 80 plus 84 plus 86. Now, we don't know what our last test score would be, but we could figure out the average by dividing these 5 items after we add them up by 5, and we want an end average to be 80.4. So the solution of this would be to multiply each side by 5. This way we get rid of our denominator here. We're going to add these up, and we end up with a total plus x. We're going to get this product here, subtract this from that, and that will be our value, which this person has worked out to be 78. Okay. Now, with working with students on Monday, I saw that in their practice or somewhere, they had to answer something using standard deviation. So once again, to review, I picked out online a nice diagram of this here, where here is your median, x bar. This is a bell-shaped curve for standard deviation. And they're saying once you find the standard deviation, that one standard deviation this way and one standard deviation this way generally makes up 68.2% of your data, and then 2 standard deviations this way and 2 standard deviations this way make up 95.4%, and I think what we use in ours is 68, 95, rounding that off a little bit. And then within 3 standard deviations this way and 3 standard deviations this way, that would be 99.7. So on this end, it's going to be 0.3% divided by 2, and on this side, 0.3% divided by 2, so that would be like a 0.15, I guess. And depending upon what they're asking you, you need to have some sort of reference in your notes or whatever. You're not going to have anything like this on your test, but again, you might run across it in your practice and certify. All right, well, this will wrap us up, and we will call this a day.